Today's gospel passage is one of my favorites. Every time I read it, it reveals something new and also begs some deeper question to ponder. And this time was no different. I was struck by how the two disciples were distressed that Jesus was naively asking questions. They were flabbergasted. How could this traveler be so unaware? Their distress was likely more than just Christ's feigned ignorance. They were probably also envious of the peace that Jesus exuded. While they were in the middle of a tornado of chaos and doubt, this traveler had an unnerving peace about him. This peace was so appealing that they asked Jesus to stay for dinner, not because they knew him, but because they wanted to know him. They wanted to know the secret to his peace. This is a big part of what is so attractive about Jesus. He is the gateway to peace amongst chaos. And I think that is the lesson that we should take from today, that we too can be at peace even among the events of the last couple months. It sounds impossible at times, but it is true. We can find peace through Christ, even in the most difficult situations. But how are we pragmatically to do that? It's easy to say in theory, but what are some practical steps we can take to latch on to Christ's peace? I'd like to offer a 3-step plan that I think will help for many of us. First, I'd like to suggest that we all dedicate an hour this week, or more if you're up to it, for silent prayer. Total silence. Our lives are filled with an amazing amount of noise. For many of us, from the moment we are woken by our alarm until the moment our head hits the pillow at the end of the day, the noise never stops. There's the TV, the car radio, our phones constantly buzzing at us. It never ends. And perhaps during the good times when things are at their best, many of those noises will bring us joy, and through that joy we can find peace. But this clearly is not one of those times. We might find moments of joy, but there is so much that distresses and makes life difficult these days. With all of that uncertainty in the noises around us, how could we ever hope to find peace through the noise? It reminds me of the story of Elijah and how he went to Mount Horeb to have an encounter with God. His predecessor Moses had also gone to the same mountain. And when Moses went, he was confronted with large, loud cymbals. He saw God in a burning bush. When he received the 10 commandments, there was a thunderous storm. But this is not what Elijah encountered. A great storm came, but God was not in that storm. An earthquake came, but God was not in that earthquake. After that, a fire ravished the mountain, but God was not in that fire. No, for Elijah, God came in the silence. So tomorrow or someday early this week, I ask you to find a quiet place to pray in silence. For this, you don't need a prayer book or a rosary or a Bible or many of your other things you use to assist you in prayer. They're all wonderful things, but in this moment, they can actually have the purpose of adding noise, even if it's just in our head, to the prayer. And what we are after in this case is silence. We want to get to know Christ. We want to know the secret to his peace. And to do that, we need to listen to him. We need to stop talking even within our prayer. We need to be silent if we are going to listen. If you want to go the extra mile, I would encourage you to consider coming to the church during the day when it is open and pray here, perhaps in front of the tabernacle if social distancing will allow you space there. If we want to get to know Jesus, being here in the church where he is present in the tabernacle, let's actually get close to him. I'd like to remind you that he has been here the whole time. Through all the closings of the schools and businesses and the stay-at-home orders, Jesus never left. We may have had to cancel public masses, but the church doors have always remained open for everyone to be able to come and be with Jesus. And in fact, it's even more true than usual this year. Normally during the Triduum just before Easter, Jesus leaves the tabernacle for over a day and goes to the altar of repose. But not this year. This year, the bishop specifically decided that because of the pandemic, that Jesus was going to stay in the tabernacle. He's been here the entire time for us. So come, be with him. Come close and get to know Christ more intimately to find the secret to his peace. The second step in our plan is to go out and do God's work, and we should do so fearlessly. I want to be clear that fearless does not mean foolish. Please follow both the church and the government guidelines to help prevent the spread of the disease. But we can be both prudent in this regard and fearless at the same time. We can leave chaos and doubt behind by jumping into action because there is so much that can be done even while we observe the social distancing rules. We can call a lonely friend or family member. We can think about that person who's been searching and that this moment has helped them really want to know God and invite them maybe to consider becoming Catholic. We continue to hold our introductory RCIA classes for those who are considering becoming Catholic via Zoom meetings every Wednesday evening. So invite them, send them to the website to get the Zoom information, and you too log into that Zoom meeting to accompany them so that they have a friendly and familiar face on the phone line. Or if your income is intact, perhaps if you also got one of the government stimulus checks, you should consider donating to a good cause. There are local charities that need help. Reach out to them and ask what they need and help them get it. Strike a blow against fear and doubt through decisive and fearless action. There is rarely peace in paralysis. We must find it through action. The final step is to place our trust in God's mercy. Perhaps you hear these things and you're thinking, I should have been doing these all along. Be gentle to yourself. I know I'm not alone in feeling pretty hard on myself when I'm not doing the best I can as a Christian. And the current times gives us plenty of opportunities to fail. I don't have the peace I know I should have. My patience with others can be too short. And when everything else surrounding us is in such confusion, it can make it even worse. It becomes all the easier to be too hard on ourselves. Don't. God is here with you the entire time, and he's ready always to forgive us our failings. His mercy is greater than any weakness we have. Trust in that mercy. Trust in his love. Trust in the peace that he is offering us, even if it is currently elusive. Know that he is always with us through the chaos and the doubt. And so I say to you, all of you watching today, do your best in the coming week to find some time for silent prayer, to go out and serve the world fearlessly, and to do it all trusting in God's mercy. And when you do it, remember the great blessing of Moses. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.